Yo, Nothing's Normal podcast. It's your host, Spitx. Back at you with another episode.
Yeah.
It's take two, man. My big bro.
Yeah.
You know, I'm feeling good.
Town
Energy
biz.
back right. Do a couple shout outs before I get to the big Brody, man. I'm excited, man. Shout out to GBA. Shout out to the home studio, Greenleaf. Shout out to POLYMAF. But enough of the shout outs, man.
No, we got to shout out the town.
We got to shout out to town. Ooh,
Shout out
okay.
to-
Okay.
Let's shout out to town.
Okay.
Let's do
I
that.
love it. I like the energy. We definitely got to shout out to town. Big Greenberg.
Yeah.
Man, this is I consider this guy here a big brother of mine. If he was born in them late 80s, early 90s, you've definitely had some Troy Millings tutelage. For sure, it's indefinite. I mean, if you was anywhere, there's no way, whether it was a cookout, a party, some advice, how to do. Listen, we're going to get to it.
Yeah, man.
Without further ado, man, who I got sitting to the left,
Yeah,
man?
man. Appreciate that, my brother Spanks. I'm happy to be here. This is Troy, co-founder of Earn Your Leisure, but more importantly, Greenberg resident.
Yes.
Woodlands grad.
Absolutely. Troy, man, okay, Greenberg resident. You know, over here at Nothing's Normal, we have this policy. We don't like to start on page 50.
Yeah.
You know, ain't none of us 50 yet, Lord willing, we get there. We like to start the story from the beginning just to give the viewers an idea, because you are Troy Millings.
Yeah.
Your goals now. So a lot of times, you know, people need to see that, you know, you guys are human.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of things you guys went through, y'all can help some of us skip them steps when
Yeah.
they realize, you know, it's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah.
But with that being said, growing up in Greenberg, what was your experience like coming from Greenberg?
Yeah, man. It was, I mean, Greenberg means everything to me, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very important place. It's a very unique place. And even the history of Greenberg, if you look back to the early 1930s, 1940s,
Right.
you know, this was a place where black celebrities came to escape inner city,
Yeah.
right? So when you go back to, you know, you think Roy Campanella, who's a baseball Hall of Famer, he lived here. Gordon Parks lived here. This was a upper class black neighborhood, and so the tradition is still here. It's the reason that we still here,
Right.
and never left. Really, you know, people say that you can't go back home. I said, that's true, but we never left home.
100%.
So
For sure.
Greenberg means so much, man. But before I go there, man, I want to give you your flowers.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Because I think that's important, man. I don't underestimate or undervalue what you're doing here with Nothing's Normal. I think it's incredible. I've watched every episode pretty much.
Wow.
And just watching your growth from being the young man that you were, you know, from, like I said, from the basketball courts and chasing dudes off the courts. He was the knockout king.
For sure.
You know what I mean? To being a productive member of your community, and a respected member of community. I mean, that's not easy. That's no small feat. And I'm talking about the responsibility of being a mentor to some, being a father, you know, being a coach. You know, you've been helping my nephew out in boxing.
Cam.
You know, I don't underestimate or, like I said, undervalue any of those efforts, because there's a lot of other things that you could be doing that are negative.
Right.
But you've been so positive in what you've been doing that I gotta commend and salute you, man. I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so proud of you.
That means a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Brother,
Of course.
That means a lot, man.
Of course, my brother.
Man, don't get me on here tearing, man.
Nah.
That really means a lot coming from you, because like I said, you've been somebody who I have watched a lot of myself, and even past me, a lot of my peers, really come into, you know, the people we're still trying to grow to be, you know? So you played a big part in that. Even to this day, when you talk about the podcast, I never had dreams of being a podcaster.
Yeah. Then I said that to you when I walked in. I'm like, yo, think about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, would you ever even think you have your own show?
Not at all.
And I'm looking at, I'm like, yo, Spank's got his own show.
Yeah.
And he's consistent with it. And every time I hit you, I'm like, yo, just don't stop.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of people, when they look at us and the success of Earn Your Leisure, yes, it's founded here, but they look at it as the goal of where they need to get to, right? And I'm like, well, everybody can't make it to the show. So some people feel like, where can I go? And so the more avenues that are created, that are productive, that helps, right?
Yes.
So when I see you talking to young men who just are trying to, you know, figure it out, they just came home and they trying to, you know, do the music thing, you are an outlet for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important that we provide more outlets. And so what you're doing, like I said, it's incredible, man. Don't stop.
I appreciate that. I feel like that's how we gonna push our culture forward. It's not that we all gonna be on the same level.
Everybody got a part.
Each level, just handle what you can handle, and then Yeah, I appreciate that. Wow.
Yeah, my guy.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
The podcast is EYL Inspired. Like I said, and that's a form of giving back. That's a whole nother topic. We're going to get into it.
Yeah, let's do
But,
it.
Yo, Nothing's Normal podcast. It's your host, Spanks. Are you tired of feeling overwhelmed when it comes to insurance? Do you want to focus on what matters most at home and in your business? Let me introduce you to ZRM Brokerage, a company that believes in making risk management your best investment. Founded by Daniel Guiney, they're providing expert risk management services with neighborly care since 2017. Over here at ZRM Brokerage, they operate off morals, honesty, integrity, loyalty. Somebody that's gonna keep it 100 with you, not just look for the dollar, you know? ZRM, which stands for Zara Risk Management, pays homage to the kindness and generosity of Daniel's grandfather, Joseph Zara. Their mission is simple: to empower you with the knowledge and tools to simplify the complex world of insurance. Now, they probably never taught you this in school, but life is all about resource. And Daniel Guiney, he's got a lot of that. He deals with top experts when it comes to insurance all over the globe. Now, if you're waiting for the accolades, trust me, we don't just walk it, he talks it as well. He's backed by an MBA from Iona University. He also has won the prestigious Millie Award from the Westchester Business Journal, y'all. Head over to www.westchesterhomeinsurance.com to get your free quote from ZRM Brokerage Insurance Company. Nothing's normal. Without further ado, Mr. Troy, a lot of us, everybody's raised different. Nothing's normal for real. How was your parent situation like growing up, in, out here in the world?
Yeah, man. So I'm Jamaican, man. I hold that flag very high. My parents are both from the same neighborhood in Kingston, Jamaica.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. My uncles were actually best friends. So my mom's brother and my dad's brother were best friends growing up.
That's deep.
Yeah, but they never really knew each other just because of the age difference. And then my mom's family kind of moved outside of Kingston. And then they ended up here in the Bronx, man.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
I knew that. They didn't know that.
Yeah,
though.
they ended up in the Bronx. And one day my dad was just like interested in a young lady. He had no idea that it was one of his friend's sisters. And, rest is history. They got married, had 3 kids. So I was born in the South Bronx.
Okay.
Shout out to everybody in Soundview. I know everybody. Sometimes when they hear the Bronx, they're like, yo, he's from the Bronx. I'm like, nah, I was born there, but I was definitely raised in Greenburgh. And I don't even want to say I had the privilege of being raised in Greenburgh because it's a place that changed my life. When I think about it, specifically the community center, the epicenter of our town, it gave me so much. It gave me an idea of what I wanted to do in the future, being that I was working with kids from a young age and working after school programs and doing rec.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying?
I had to sit on lock.
Doing all these things. And it was like when I had to figure out what I wanted to be in life, like there was a couple other routes I was trying to choose, but none of them felt natural to me. And working with kids felt natural to me, and working around sports felt natural to me because I was obsessed with sports, still am obsessed with sports. And so that's kind of how I got to the point of being a teacher, was finding my natural gift. Sometimes people say you got a spiritual gift.
Yes.
You just got to find it.
Yeah.
It's like what you do naturally, when that meets, what you do naturally meets a value add for people, plus, intuition, that's where your purpose is. And my purpose was educating.
Right. So that's something that you picked up on early.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's dope.
Yeah.
So obviously, you actually answered a few of my questions because, at least in America, if you want to be a teacher, you have to have some sort of degree.
Yeah.
But where'd you go to college?
So I went to, it was crazy, man. I remember being a senior and not even thinking about college, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, my friends ain't from here.
Yeah.
I ain't nobody my brother went to college for 1 year and that was it.
Yeah.
And I ain't know anybody else in my family that had went. And so it wasn't really on my mind until, I saw all my peers going.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend at the time, she was going. I was like, well, I guess I gotta go too.
Yeah.
What am I do? And at the time I was like still obsessed with sports, and I figured like if I can't play the sport, I'm gonna be around it. So I wanted to do sports medicine. I actually wanted to be a physical therapist until I started taking classes, and I'm like, yo, I suck at science. Like I'm really like, I got no chance. I remember the saying like, in order to be a physical therapist, you had to take all these like kinesiology, anatomy with cadaver, physics, Chem 1, Chem 2, Bio 1, Bio 2. And I'm like, I'm drowning. Like, I'm like, yo, I got no chance, right? And then I'm in a class and I'm like, they're like, yo, there was like 60 of us in this class. And they were like, only 5 people are gonna make it to the grad school program. And I'm looking around, I'm like, there's only 5 of us in this room that's making it? I'm doing the math. I'm like, there's no way it's gonna be me.
Was you the only black one in the room?
Nah. So there was this other girl who was in there who was actually, she was great because she helped me. I was like, I don't got a chance.
It's 2 of us in here, man.
Yeah, it's 2. And I'm looking at, I'm taking tests and I'm like, yo, my pops is older than the grades I'm getting. Like, this shit is crazy. Like, I got no,
Damn.
yeah, it was bad. It was
I never
bad.
even heard that one.
Yeah, that was
That's
bad.
a Woodland special right there.
Exactly. So I'm like,
Dungeon
they were
talk.
like, don't worry about it. We're gonna curve the grade. I'm like, you can't curve a 31. Like, it ain't gonna math.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, well, I ain't gonna get into this PT program.
Yeah.
I'm about to finish like my junior year at this point, and I'm like, yo, I gotta get out of here with something.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking, I'm like, oh, I got enough credits to match that degree, and it was health science.
Yeah.
So I'm like, perft. I'll do that. I got it. So I'm finishing up a health science degree, but then I graduated with that, and they're like, what you gonna do with it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, I don't know.
Be a rapper.
Yeah, I guess, right? Like, I guess that I'm going to start my rapping career.
Yeah.
But something hit me. I had remember the conversation that I had when I was in high school with my phys ed teacher.
Yeah. Wow.
Shout out to Dels.
Delsio.
Yeah.
I had Dels.
Yeah.
Shout
So
out to
Dels, I asked him when I was 18 years old how much he had made. And he told me he made $140,000.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? How? Like, my dad don't make that. Like, you're making that doing this?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm a teacher. I'm like, yeah, but you the gym teacher. Like, he was like, no. I'm a teacher. We're all getting paid the same.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of years and education you have that determine your pay.
Right.
So I'm like, how did you get to 140 though? Because I don't think like the social studies teacher's making that. And he was like, well, here's the key. I'm getting a base salary of 110, right? Like, because he had been working for like 20 years at the time. Yeah. But here's what he really did. He was like, well, I coached 3 sports. He was like, and I coached the sports that nobody really pays attention to or cares about at our school. You know that.
Yeah.
It's basketball, it's football.
Hello.
Right? So he was the golf coach.
We had that?
Exactly.
Tough.
He was the bowling coach.
Definitely didn't know we had that.
Right? And then,
He knew.
You know, he was on the bowling team. Right? And but then he was the soccer coach in the fall.
Okay.
But those are all varsity sports. And so varsity sports, the coaches get between $6,000 to $9,000 for the season.
Up front or how
They probably has a stipend or something like that.
Right.
But like you figure like
yeah.
you do that for 3 teams as a varsity coach, you've made at the max $27,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
On the minimum, if he's making 6, he's making another additional $18,000 a year on top of what he made. And I was like,
Yikes.
yo, I'm gonna take your job.
That was smart.
I'm coming to take your. I told him like at 18, I'm coming to take your job. So I remember the conversation. I'm like, I'm gonna go back and be a phys ed teacher because I got this health science thing. And so I was looking up programs. There's only 2 programs in the state that I could go to. It was like Queens College and Manhattanville because they just started a phys ed program, which is great because I know once you start a program, they got to get a certain amount of people to get through the program, pass the program, to show you like, yo, this program is great. Keep it. So I'm like year 1.5. I'm like year 2 of the joint. So I'm in there, ace and everything. I got out of the joint. I'm like, perfect. But they allowed you to teach while you were going to school. So I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I can actually get paid now.
Perfect. Yeah.
So I went back to Woodlands and I applied, and I never heard nothing from them.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Shout out to the town. I never heard nothing from them. Yeah. And so I ended up doing this like job fair. It was like some speed dating for like teaching jobs. It was like you sit down and they right on the spot, like interview you, and if you got it, you got the job. And if it didn't work, you go to the next person. So I did that, and I ended up getting a job in the Bronx, man. I thank God for that opportunity.
Listening to you, like you just realize, like, you know, now that I'm at this age, I'm getting older now, you just realize what kind of friends you needed back then. I'm not saying I didn't have those kind of friends, but we just looked at Delzio like he was cool. We never picked his brain. We never asked him his salary. We just liked the fact that he let us do what the hell we wanted to do.
You know what it was? It was because how relaxed he was, how cool he was.
Yeah.
But also, he looked like he was having a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I want to have that level of luxury when I do what I do.
Right.
And I'm like, I really want that job.
Yeah.
Like, at the time, he was wearing like sweats to school, and nobody. So these are the real reasons. I'm like, look. Number one, there's no state testing in phys ed, so I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
There's no homework in phys ed, so I never have to worry about that. Right. And when it comes down to parent-teacher conferences, like how many people are going to see the phys ed teacher? Not many.
It's like recess at them. They don't.
Yeah, but that's how they're looking at it, right? That's how most people are viewing it. So I was like, all right, that's cool. I want to change the stigma of that, right? And so like most times I'd never tell people that I'm a gym teacher. I would say I'm a physical educator, right? Because I'm educating around the physics of the human body.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's a science.
Absolutely.
And so I always, like for years, I'd be like, yeah, I don't teach them. Like that's just the classroom that houses what I do.
Right.
But yeah, it was because of him, really. I was like, yo, I need to get to 140 because at the time, my dad definitely wasn't making 140, and my mom 1,000% wasn't making 140. And I'm like, if I can make 140, I've made it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like anybody that gets a 6-figure, especially where we from, you know the dude that's making 6 figures?
For sure.
Yo, he made it.
Him.
Yeah, he made it.
He's him.
Yeah.
How old was you when you became a phys ed teacher?
So I started at 26, and I definitely didn't start with 100,000.
Yeah.
And they started me at like 50 bands, like 52 bands. And I was like, bet. Yo,
even then.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm like, yo,
yeah.
I'll take it. Just because I wanted to get my foot in the door and I wanted to see what it's like. And when I started doing that, it was crazy because everything that I learned in school, I threw out the window. Everything I learned in the center, I was like, oh, I can apply this.
Absolutely.
Because I'm like, this is real. Like, I really got to manage kids. I really got to have structure. I really got to be able to stand in front of this class and be able to deliver something. I really got to be relatable. I really got to be empathetic and sympathetic. I got to play all these roles in order for this to work inside the setting. So my first day teaching, I had an all boys class. And I see some of them students now, and it was rough, bro. That shit was rough. They was 14.
Okay.
Yeah, 8th grade boys.
Yeah, that's
so
tough.
yeah, it was my first class. I never forget. I walked in that and it was bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. And then right after them, I had an all girls class, and I was like, they killed me. And I was like, damn. And I walked out the building, me and this first year teacher, and she was like, how was your day? And I was like, yo, they won today.
Yeah.
But they never gonna win again.
That's tough.
I said, they never gonna win again. She's like, what you mean? I'm like, tomorrow I come back and I'm different.
Yeah.
And that moment right there, I needed it because it was like, all right, bet. You gotta go in there with a different game plan. That didn't work, right? You try to be the structured, what you learned in school.
Right.
Nah, throw it out the window. Yeah. Be the guy that you know from working with kids in the center. Be the guy that you know from working with kids in the Bronx and students, teachers.
The book stuff.
Nah. Throw it all out, come in with a new game plan. And I carried that game plan for 8 years in the Bronx, and it worked. It worked.
Tough.
Yeah, it worked.
Before we get off of teaching, I know a lot of teachers. Talk about that feeling you felt when you got tenured. Talk about that 10-year feeling. That's a big feeling for a lot of teachers.
It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times you work for that.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because after people get it, then you start to see a downtick in their production because they feel like they have that job stability. It was just, I didn't even know I had it.
Really?
I'll be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah, I had no idea I had it. I was working usually after your third year, you get evaluated because you're probationary for the first 3 years.
Right.
And I think the last day of my third year, I got called into the office, and I thought the principal was asking me to get her some lunch because sometimes she was calling me up like, yo, you going to lunch, Millings? Can you grab me something? And I was like, yeah, what's up? She was like, I need you to sign this paper. And I'm like, what is it? And she was like, oh, we granted you tenure.
Oh, wow.
I was like,
oh, thanks.
Oh, bet.
Oh, bet.
I was like, bet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, yo, if I don't get this, what's next?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't keep this job. And when they gave me tenure, it was like, there was a commitment from them to me. And in my mind, I was like, I'm going to show a commitment to them. Even though the environment isn't ideal, the class sizes aren't ideal, right? Like, I'm like 90 kids.
Yeah.
I got 2 basketballs. Even all that, although that wasn't ideal, it was crazy.
Okay, yeah,
I
factored
exactly, and a jump rope.
Yeah, yep.
I'm like, I got to be creative enough to make this work, but they showed a level of commitment to me, so I'm gonna show a level of commitment to them. I mean, that was always who I've been though. It was like, I'm the guy that's outside. I'm greeting the kids.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the guy that's helping in the hallway. I'm the guy that's volunteering for lunch. And they got a school dance. I'm to do like
Definitely.
Those were naturally the things. But I had learned that again, being in the center, was like, yo, there was a big focus on men being leaders in our community.
Right.
And so when kids got off the bus, we was out front getting the kids off the bus. When parents were dropping off kids, we were the ones opening the doors for the parents and the kids to get out, leading, but also leaving an impression. Right.
Absolutely.
That part gets overlooked. Like,
need to reach.
this is the impression. Like, yo, when you come here, there's guys who are leading. There are men who are leading. There's a level of safety that you're going to feel when you drop your kids off. Yeah. And so I just carry that throughout my entire career.
Yeah. That's the blessing about, there's no place, I've been, a few different places, a lot of different, there's no place like the communities. I haven't seen anything like it. Have you seen anything like it in your travels throughout the world?
There's never, and that's why I'm always big on saying that's where we from.
That's tough.
So like I talked about the purpose part, right? Like being able to work with kids, working in after school programs, understanding like education was gonna be my path. But like think about all the other things it's given me.
Absolutely.
Like my best friends in the world, their ties are there.
Right.
Like I meet my business partners there. I meet my wife there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how much, I meet all the people that are in my life, I pretty much kind of meet them there or we were there together. And that's like, what other place can I say meant that much? You know what I'm saying? So is that real to me? And that's the reason why even now it's like, how do we give back to our community? Like, we got to go through that first.
Yeah.
We got to make sure that we touch that building first to make sure that if we're giving back to the community, it starts there and then we'll figure everything else out.
That pivots right into the community center.
Yeah.
I feel like Earn Your Leisure is most definitely, the seeds of it was planted in the community center amongst all of y'all, because a lot of y'all, y'all would congregate there.
Yeah.
Millions of man-hours to a conversation. Them grand jury minutes go from here to the other side of the world.
Yeah, we was outside, man. We was really outside having conversations in the parking lot till 3 a.m.
Yes.
I mean, night after night, then going to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, like really doing these things. Like, it's not foreign for us to be outside. Like, that's all we've ever done.
Always.
But that place gave me vision, right? When I had the opportunity to run the program.
Yeah, I was gonna get into it.
You know what I'm saying?
What was your role as far as the community center? I'll talk about it. You was a camp counselor.
I did it all.
We know you, for the infamous Crossroads. We know you. That's a program that because you know how, the town sometimes if I misquote something, so I don't want to say it. I only know you. Was that your create Crossroads? Was that
I did not. I did not create that. So that actually existed for 40 years.
Okay.
Maybe 30 years prior to me being in charge of it. But even that was a blank sheet of paper. And it was like, yo, here's a fresh canvas for you to create on. And so I was like, great. I had done everything already at the center. Like you said, like I was a camp counselor, did the rec specialist, site manager, whatever you want to call it.
You did maintenance?
I didn't do maintenance. I couldn't get dirty like that. I ain't get my hands dirty. I ain't getting my hands dirty. Yeah, I ain't getting my hands dirty.
I don't think none of y'all
we're not getting our hands dirty.
Greg might have did maintenance.
Nah, Greg ain't maintenance. Greg was a supermodel.
Yeah, Greg was the man. Shout out to Greg.
Yeah, we wasn't getting our hands dirty like that. But we, I mean, after school programs played a vital part in that too. So this is where we were able to look at the young people in our community and say, like, who needs a job? Yo, come work at the after school program. So even students, right? Like that's where we see Ab, right? That's where that's where I first meet him.
Yes.
But the program, I had the opportunity, man. I was walking in, the center for one day, and James was like, yo, look, I need you to run this program for me. And I was like, what is it? And he was like, Crossroads. Steve's not doing it this year. Steve Lewis, shout out to him. I know he had a big role in the program as well.
Okay.
He's not doing this year. I need somebody to do it. And I was like, bet, I'll do it. Cool. I just need to bring a couple people in. And so I brought Greg in.
Okay.
Yeah, I brought Greg. And so this is how they did it to me. They was like, all right, we're going to have Greg running and you can be the co-chair. I'm like, wait, I brought him in. Yeah, but he was like.
+1.
Exactly. But he looked at it and he was humble enough to say, like, yo, he brought me in. He going to run it. And so, like, he would just, like, oversee the things. But I was, like, putting, like, the foundational pieces in. And so, like, I'm looking like, yo, who can I hire? I bet. This is what we're going to hire. Here's what we're going to do. I want to treat this, because Greg is a guidance counselor, but he wasn't a teacher.
Okay.
And I was looking at it like, yo, I'm going to treat this 6 weeks of the summer like the 10 months of school that the kids miss. Wow. And so I want to give them topics and things that I know they're not learning in school because I'm in school, right? And if I can't help with the problem and become part of a solution, then I really am complicit. And like that never sat well with me. I never wanted to feel complicit in education where I was getting paid to do what kids do service, right?
Definitely.
Because if they're not learning from what we're doing, then I know what's going to be outside waiting for them, right? The environment going to take a hold of them. And so I was like, all right, well, let's add some things into it. Let's. I remember teaching them etiquette. It was like, I doing dining etiquette, interview etiquette, but the core part was financial education.
Right. Wow.
So financial literacy was the goal. It was like, all right, well, we're going to teach kids about money because we're paying them. So at the end, you know how this works.
Absolutely.
Based on where they go to their internship, how they perform, we're going to pay them. I'm like, all right, perfect. We're going to teach these kids about money because this is not being taught at school. This is like 2009, 2010 maybe.
I remember.
I'm like, they're not teaching this, so we're going to teach it. And Shadi had just started his career in financial advising. I'm like, what would be even better is if you came in, I'm talking to him, like, if you came in and like you kind of did this with us, this would be perfect because like it's going to sound different from a guy who works in finance than it does for me. They're going to listen to me and respect me, but they're going to actually value it coming from you because this is your, what you're doing in his career. And so he was like,
he's qualified.
Yeah, he's certified in it. And he was just like,
Shadi, we gonna get to the talk about Shadi.
He's just like, and I'm like, nah, like, trust me, like, I'll like write the lesson plans, and I want you to be the face for this thing. And he was, after a while, he was like, he kind of like was feeling it. He was like, oh, this is dope because I get to actually do what I do, but to a younger demographic, and they kind of receptive and they're willing to learn. Whereas when you work with adults, they stubborn, they rigid. They stuck in their ways. Well, these kids were receptive, and then we started incentivizing, the learning, right? Like, hey, if y'all get this right, we're gonna buy lunch for your group today.
Yeah.
And so learning became fun, which is what the goal is for education.
The whole algorithm.
Right. We want to make sure that they enjoy it, and to the point where it's like, I want to do that again. I want more of that. I can't wait till we get financial literacy again. And so like we did that year after year after year, and it was like, this is special. This is special. Like special enough to the point when I would go back to work, I couldn't wait for like March to come so I could start planning for the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you that. Do you feel like, because like I said, we get these government jobs for stability. Doesn't necessarily mean we agree with the ways and the principles of the necessary job at hand. Did you feel like Crossroads was in a way freedom? Did you have that? Because I as a teacher, you see a lot of different things. You see the way the system works. It doesn't always work in our favor. And like you said, now you're teaching everything that they're not showing. So did that kind of play on, like I said, your energy when you went back, put you in a negative headspace?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a negative headspace. It was just like, I felt like somebody else can do what I'm doing. Yeah. Right? Like somebody else could teach phys ed. In fact, I know somebody's going to teach it. But who's doing that? Like nobody can do that, right? Like I don't see anybody doing it, so that must be what I'm supposed to do. Right. In fact, it was like, it became super redundant in a sense where it's like, all right, if I get a kid when he's in 6th grade, right, and by the time he's in 8th grade, it's pretty much going to be the same things that we're going to be doing, right? They're not changing or making new sports, right? Right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like when I get the kid in kindergarten, and now I have him in 5th grade. He's seen me for 5 years. Yeah, K through 2 is going to be a certain curriculum, but 3 through 5 is going to pretty much be the same. Yeah. Now it's redundant, right? And this is part of the reason why sometimes teachers get, like, they get caught in this cycle of repetitiveness where it's like, I'm drained. I can't keep doing this. Yeah. So what the state does and what like education does is like they'll try to change the way things are taught. So like you might go and you look at your son's math homework, right? And you're looking at it like, that you're adding, right? And they showing him 6 different other ways to add, but you know how to add. Right. You know how to subtract. Yeah. They're gonna show him 4 different ways how to do it. Well, it really ain't about him. It's really about the person who's educating him, right? If they had to teach subtraction the same way for 20 years, wouldn't you get burnt out? Yes. This is super redundant.
It's just, absolutely.
So they gotta
innovate a little bit.
Right, so they'll say, well, kids learn differently, and that's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the goal is to get to the solution, right? Right? You want to get to the answer. But they're gonna have 10 different, like, since I've been in education, it was over 15 years, I've watched at least 5 different ways to multiply. I'm looking at it like, bro, I know how to multiply. What are y'all doing here? That part I don't know. Yeah. And so that redundancy started sitting for me because I'm like, this ain't sitting right. And it just didn't feel fulfilling. Like I felt like, yes, these are fundamental skills. Gross motor skills are important. Fine motor skills are important. Being healthy is important. Being athletic is important. Having movement is important. And that's great. But who's teaching you about money? Which is what we're all gonna need. Who's teaching you about where to live? Who's teaching you about taxes? Who's teaching you about the most important decision you're gonna make after you, at the age of 16 or 17 or 18, going to college? Who's telling you about that? Because if you're not learning about that, you're gonna make a decision that probably won't be wise, probably won't be educated, and you're gonna pay for that for the next 10, 15, 20 years. So my thing was like, let's get in front of that. Let's give the kids the information as early as possible so they can make a wise decision in the next 5 years, so they're not the kids that are like, hey, I didn't know this is what student loan is. I didn't know this is what it is to be a cosigner. You know what I'm saying? They know these things. And if they don't go that route, here are some other things you can do. So my thing wasn't like, hey, go to college, go to college, go to college. It was like, yes, this is a pathway, but hey, this is also a pathway. Entrepreneurship's a pathway. You could be a civil servant, that's a pathway. Fireman, police, all these are honorable careers that you can do, even if you don't go that way. So we were giving kids options. Yeah.
Legally hired seltzer water. Just when you thought you couldn't get hired, they go and add 60 more milligrams of THC. They actually added a new flavor too, the raspberry acai. Emphasis on the acai. A little bit more calories, but that just means it tastes better. Now, if you don't know about Legally Highest, it is a THC seltzer water. I know for me, I like my clothes to smell fresh. I hate smoky clothes. Like, oh my God, you walk in a spot and set the fire alarm off. Everybody knows if you want your breath to stay intact, you better have a bev, and it can't be water. So this is a double bonus. You get the double bonus here, man. You can sip. Nobody's in your business. You could do this around your kids. Actually, speaking of kids, you need to be 21 or older to purchase one of these. So, if you're 20, maybe we'll get you a case of these for your 21st birthday. If you're looking to purchase some of these amazing drinks and calm yourself down, www.legallyhighest.com. Us over here at Nothing's Normal, we are part of the POLYMAF network. You'll get a discount by using promo code POLY20. Well, now that we're high, let's get back into the show. Before we get off that, I wanted to ask you, do you think, what are some things when you get out of school, do you think, standard you need to get out of? When you leave school, what should you know that's relevant to being successful as an entrepreneur with our system? Yeah, so what do you take? What should a student take out of school?
So I never left school thinking I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I don't even want people to even get that misconception.
Okay.
My mind was like, I'm going to work somewhere. But my mindset wasn't an employee.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think they would.
You knew you wanted to be.
Yeah, I just think my mindset was just different. I never looked at school as my job and the principal as my boss. You know what I mean? Those are the common thoughts. I always looked at like, yo, we're coworkers.
Right.
And so I always respected people, not for their title, but for who they were.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So if he was, I looked at the principal, and I mean, to this day, like even now when I see some of the people that, were the principals, I looked at them like, yo, y'all need to do your job. Right. And if you do your job, we're going to look good. Mm-hmm. Right. And if I do my job, we're going to look good. You don't know more about my subject than I do. So you're going to trust me to run this part of the operation. Mm-hmm. Right. So if phys ed is my thing, I'm going to run this. I'm going to run it so efficiently that everybody's going to look good. But you got to do your job. And that's how I always looked at people. I never looked at them as my boss. I looked at the school district as they were my first investors, really. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever I was getting paid, like that was their investment. They invested in me. Right. So my salary that was what they was paying me. That was the investment, right? And so I was like, all right, well, if they're going to invest in me, I'm going to show them on return what they're going to get. They're going to get the most dedicated. They're going to get the most vigilant. They're going to get the most energetic. They're going to get the most compassionate, empathetic, all these things. That's what they're going to get every year. And every year you see that, you're going to want to have me back.
Right.
And so every year it was like, of course, we got to have you back until they don't see you anymore.
That's like,
and then it's like, oh, wait.
We lost them.
We missed all that. There's nobody to replace that.
There's no void.
And so that can go two ways, right? When I left the Bronx, I felt that way. I was like, yo, if I leave, nobody's going to be replacing me. And that sat on, I was like, damn, that felt heavy to me.
For the school?
For the school and the community, really.
Right, absolutely.
Because how many times do you see black males come into the world of education?
Not so often.
I had two in my life.
Yeah.
And so I know if I left,
they might replace you with.
It ain't gonna be me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For a lot of reasons, it's not gonna be me, but it ain't gonna be somebody that looks like me. And that weighed on me a little bit. But I was like, all right, well, and this is something I had to learn. Like, impact is important. And so, like, yeah, you can impact them from being in that building, but you can also impact them by not being in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I was trying to figure that out. How do I do it? Was it bringing a program like Crossroads to the city and scaling it that way? Or would it be like through social media, which it ended up being like, oh, this is how I can now impact again.
So you just didn't want to abandon.
I felt like that.
You didn't want to jump
Yeah,
ship.
yeah,
You
yeah.
didn't want to abandon. Wow, that's deep. That's
I
deep.
never wanted to abandon
that's
them
passion.
because I cared about those kids. I cared about that community. And I know it's like when somebody leaves, it's like, yo, he didn't care. He was just here for the money.
Yeah, and especially somebody who played the role that you played.
Yeah.
Who inspired that mindset, or was you just natural as far as looking at? Because not too often people look at their bosses as their peers. Because some people didn't earn titles. It's politics. It's a lot of different ways to get a lot of different places. But like I said, to even have that mindset, to not look at your boss as your just overall superior as far as a being.
Yeah.
Who inspired that mindset, or is that just you natural?
I think it was kind of a natural thing, but it definitely got enhanced by watching my peers.
Yeah.
Shotty was an entrepreneur, Mike was an entrepreneur. And so I watched how they moved, and I was like, I have that mindset. I'm just not the entrepreneur. And they was like, well, you got a W-2. You're an employee. And I was like, yeah, but my mind, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, but my mindset ain't there, right? And it was the same thing. My mind was ready for that move even before I physically was ready for that move.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's just how I looked at it. In fact, there were times in the last couple of years when I was teaching, after I left the Bronx, I went to New Rochelle, and they were like, you know what? I remember sitting down with the assistant principal. He was like, you should go into administration. And I was like,
wow.
No. I'm like, why you think that? I was like, I'm not interested in just making more money by getting another position. Like, I don't think that's for me.
Yeah.
He was like, nah, you got all the tools. You'll be great. And I said, can I be honest with you? He was like, yeah. What's up? I said, this ain't it.
Wow.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's this AP at the time. He's like, come to my office. He's like, what? He's like, yo, what you mean this isn't it? I was like, there's a higher calling on me. And he was like, elaborate. I'm like, I know like I'm only here temporarily. Like, I'm committed to being here, but I know that there's a bigger purpose on my life. It's not, I wasn't meant to be a phys ed teacher for 20 years. Like, I never thought that I'd be working for 25 years and I would retire and get a pension. Like, I never thought that.
Even having it, okay.
Never thought that. Like, I would, even like the people in New Rochelle, I would tell them like, yo, if I'm here at 50, then I've done something wrong. And they're like, well, you're 36 now. I'm like, well, if I'm here at 50, I've done something
I'm
wrong.
50, what are you saying?
They were like, exactly, right? They're like, what does that mean? I'm like, look, if I can't figure out in the next 14 years a way to not be here, then I deserve to be here. And that's no knock at the profession. It was just like, I know there was a higher calling. And so they were like, that's pretty optimistic of you. I'm like, nah, that's what I'm putting on myself. Like, I'm gonna figure something out. Like, I used to tell people, we're gonna figure something out. I probably told y'all that, yo.
What? Are you kidding me? He was like, stay close.
Stay close.
Stay close.
Because we're gonna figure something out. I don't know what it is. We're gonna try a couple of things, but we're gonna figure this thing out, because I just know the calling that we have on ourselves. But I know the level of dedication and sacrifice and commitment that we all had as friends, that we was going to figure something out. And when it happened, I'm like, all right, this is the thing.
This was supposed to happen.
This is supposed to happen.
Yeah. Let me give y'all a little insight, especially for me being younger than them.
Yeah.
It was never really, I can't say regular. It was never like from...
Nothing's normal.
From the cookouts. Yeah, nothing's normal at all. From the cookouts at Small's crib.
Yep.
To, like I said, my first trips to Dykeman and certain restaurants and all of that was they was always doing those kind of things. So it was never really a shock to me when I seen the emergence of this powerhouse that I'm seeing, because it was never from what we seen locally. It was always just something different about that crew. And speaking about that crew, I want to talk about you and Rashad. You and Rashad, I feel like it's a chemistry. You can't teach that. You can't. There's no course you could take. There's no duo. You know when to talk. He knows when to. It's just so natural. Yeah. Let's talk about your relationship with Rashad, man. How'd you meet Rashad?
Yeah, that's my brother. I always talk about that. I don't want anybody to get that confused. Like, before there was Earn Your Leisure, we was brothers, and like everybody knew that.
Shout out to Troy.
Yeah, like we was always together, even though we had a lot of other friends.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
when it came down to it, like the most likely that person you're gonna see us with is each other. So I met him. It was interesting. I was at Woodlands already. I think I was in 8th grade, and he must have been in 6th grade. So he was at Bailey, the elementary school in our town. And Lopez was doing the movie. Yeah, so he was doing.
Tony.
Yeah, I seen him the other day.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I seen him the other day.
Same, man. Tall. He had
Shout out to Lopes. Shout out to Lopes. Yeah, he was talking his talk.
Guy.
Yeah, so he had the opportunity to bring us to a movie set, Eddie with Whoopi Goldberg. So this is like 95. So they gathered a bunch of kids from the town in Woodlands, and I happened to be one of them. And Shotty was one. But I didn't know who he was because I didn't go to Bailey.
Yeah.
I started Woodlands in 7th grade. And Sean had known him. Like, rest in peace, Eric had known him. Tawan had known him. Everybody knew him.
Yeah.
And I was like, they call him by his nickname. He must be cool.
Yeah.
And then they told me it was Haas's brother. And I knew Haas because, him and my brother the same age. So I'm like, yo, you my man now. Like, that's it. I was just like, you my man now, man. Like, I'm rocking with you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and it's interesting because we have a lot of similarities, right? Like, he's the third of 3 children. I'm the third of 3 children. We both Pisces.
Shout out to Pisces.
Yeah, Pisces, you know that. And so we the youngest of our families. And so I never had a younger brother. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, bet, you gonna be my man.
Come on.
You
Little bro.
You my man.
We just met, but.
And he was super quiet. Like, he never really talked. So I'm like, all right, bet, even more. Like
it's perfect.
I'm like, it's interesting because like when people watch us on Earn Your Leisure, it's like, we super professional, and he has a lot to say. And I get my points in there, and, we bounce off each other.
Yeah.
But in public, they're like, yo, he's so quiet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I remember when people be like, yo, he wouldn't even speak.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, bro, like, he talks all the time.
Yeah.
Like, he just got to be comfortable with y'all.
I used to be like that.
Yeah, he don't talk. It's like, yo, I'm telling y'all, like, if he's comfortable with it, he's not gonna stop talking. And so I'm happy to see that evolution of people seeing that.
Absolutely.
But they still, every now and then, they're like, he's so quiet, he's an introvert. I'm like, that's who he is naturally. But
he likes to disengage. That's what it is.
Yeah, he's super observant, kind of a stoic personality. Definitely. So you got to know him to really understand him. Yeah. But like, that was the start of it. And then we had a love for basketball. Obviously, he was playing his whole life. I started playing like 9th grade.
Yeah, you would.
Can
you demonstrate it for the people?
Nah. We got to pay for that, man. And that's interesting because like, again, and that gets overlooked. But like, I didn't grow up. Like, I grew up loving sports, but like, I didn't even know AAU was until like I got to Woodlands. So like I said, they from Jamaica. Yeah. So my pops is playing cricket.
Okay.
He playing like. You know what I'm saying? Like, with bowling and in the club. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know nobody that plays that. So he don't even know what AAU is. They don't know any of these things. They don't, you know what I mean? So like, I'm just figuring it out because my peers is doing it. So I started playing ball probably like 8th or 9th grade. Yeah. But then we played ball together. And then we were kind of like, he was hanging with older kids. Yeah. So my brother was older and his brother was older. So we was hanging out with each other just because we were the younger guys hanging out with the older dudes. But he was the youngest of the young.
Definitely.
So like, they in 12th grade, he like in 7th. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm in 9th. So like, now we just hanging out with the older dudes, and then those guys graduate, and now he's hanging out with us. And so he's always been with me, like, by my side since. But since that moment, we've been locked in. I mean, literally from 11 years old to today, I probably talk to him every day, multiple times a day. And that's never changed. Like, when he was playing ball in Hawaii, it was a time difference, still hitting us. Like, you know what I'm saying? We just been connected like that in a real brotherhood. That's why Earn Your Leisure is different. Because it's magical. It's a brother. And the same thing with Mike.
Yeah, definitely. Are we going to get to Mike too?
Yeah, same thing with Mike.
Let's get into Mike before we get into the forming of Earn Your Leisure, man. Mike, you and Mike, I think, are more the same age. Yeah. Both same age, but y'all got a good friendship too. You and Mike is super tight. Like I said, when I got introduced to y'all whole wave, it was a group, even back then, pre-EYL. Yeah. Did you have a name before we get into Mike?
Nah, you know what? We had a business.
She's big, damn.
We definitely had a business.
That's
it
tough.
was myself, it was G, my brother Greg, Shotty, and Smalls. Shout out to Smalls. Actually, I think Shotty came up with the name. It was Money Through Investing. And so we was trying to figure out how to flip real estate.
Yeah.
This is like 2006, 2007.
Yeah. This was, small. 2006. It was my first time coming to your party at Small's crib, and I just remember like somebody getting married back here. I seen.
Oh, he was
like,
popping bottles, a lot of bottles.
A lot going on back then. I said, "What the hell?" I'm used to Slater Center and skating.
Yeah,
and I went back there. And my life got changed. I don't even think nobody's parents would have approved of them being back there.
It was. We were just trying to elevate the experience of what was normal for us. Mm-hmm. Like you said, it would be like these little community center parties, and we like, well, that's cool, but that's not really how we live. Yeah. Like we live, we drink champagne sometimes. We have food catered. We have nice music.
Back then
we had nice people attending.
Yeah, definitely. It was, the guest list was a little different. I tell you that.
It was great, but it
changed my life.
It was different for the town. You know what I'm saying? It was different, and so like it was like, all right, well, we're gonna show people how different we are. But like, that was the original thing we was doing was having those cookouts. Right. Yeah, shout out to Smalls and his parents for letting us use the crib. But yeah, Mike.
Mike.
It's crazy, man.
Media
Mike. That's my brother.
Sure.
Again, it's a brotherhood before it's anything. Mm-hmm. And I know him since I was like literally like 6 years old. So that when I first came here and was going to camp, like Mike was in my camp group when I was like in kindergarten and first grade. So like him, Tawan, Munch, all these Court, all these dudes.
All these
they was all in my group. So I remember Mike. I remember Mike was. He wasn't big bro then. He was a little guy. He was a little guy with the ponytail. No disrespect.
Ponytail?
Yeah. We're not editing that out either.
Yeah, one of the wrestlers. I think
he definitely had the ponytail.
X-Pac or something was going on. Like, man, I love you, man.
It's crazy because the guy, when I came back to middle school with them, I remember just like being after school, like Mike was always in the computer room, like locked in. Like he was always in the computer room. Like after school, it did not matter. Like he would be on that computer and you never really knew. I never knew really what he was doing. I thought he might have been playing SimCity, but he was, you know what I'm saying? I thought that's what he was doing, but he was always on the computers. And then, again, through sports, we connected. And even after that, it was like Mike was moving at a speed of being an entrepreneur. So I was watching that. I mean, I literally watched this guy have almost every job, from being like working at a movie theater to working at the computer store. I think he sold me my first computer in life, which is crazy. Wow. He worked, I don't even know if you remember CompUSA. He was working there. Yeah,
CompUSA. I remember CompUSA. I could count on one hand how many times I've been in there. But I was that foot action guy.
Yeah, he sold me my first computer. And he was always good at technology, man. So it was interesting. He was selling cars and doing photography, but he always was finding a way. Like, and I always respected that. Yeah. Right? Like before dudes was really making money like that, like Mike was outside really, being an entrepreneur and figuring out ways to make money. Definitely. And so I always saluted that. And we just always been tight since then because I respected that so much from him. And so, when it was time for us to come hit to this level, he had moved to Atlanta because, again, he just being creative and trying to figure life out and figure out how things work. We were trying to figure out, myself and Shotty, we was like, yo, who could help us with this venture? Who kind of knows how to do some of the background tech and things like that. And it was easy. Yeah. He had helped prior, when Shotty was trying to create his own, persona on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely.
They had that conversation and it was like, yo, he can help. Yeah. So it was we was like, yo, this makes sense. Like that's our brother anyway. He has some skills that we don't. He can help us. We need it. Let's do it.
Yeah. We talk about Earn Your Leisure, the creation of Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah.
I've seen it on many different YouTube channels that you came up with that name. Earn Your
Leisure, bro.
And bro, he was trying to scrap it. He tried to
but you in that story.
Yeah,
I never leave you out the story.
Yeah, you never did. Shout out to Charlamagne, man. You told Charlamagne that.
That's an interesting time too, because at the time he was creating his own brand, right? And that's when I talk about brotherhood, that's real brotherhood, right? It wasn't like, yo, I want to start a brand too because you're starting it. It was like, how can I help you build this? And so I remember he was like, yo, let's come up with a campaign. And so we writing up how the campaign gonna look. Yo, Mike, you gonna shoot the campaign. This is how the storyline gonna look. And so cool. Then it was like, yo, I need a hashtag for the campaign. I'm like, yo, I remember we was working out at Crunch. And we was in there, and I came in one day. I'm like, yo, bro, I got it. I was like, I got the hashtag for you. He was like, what is it? And I'm like, Earn Your Leisure. And he was like, nah. I'm like, nah, bro, that's it. Because everything you saying, like, especially here, where people had watched us grow up, they watched us have nice parties, like I said, driving nice cars. It felt like, yo, these kids are silver spoon kids.
Yeah.
Like, they ain't grow up in the projects, quote unquote projects, right? Mindset. Right?
Definitely.
Right? They ain't have it hard, right? They didn't work hard for this. And I was like, nah, bro, like, y'all didn't see every day that I was busting my ass, like going to school, like on Saturdays, like going to school at night, working 2 jobs during the day, coming to the center. Like, y'all ain't seen none of that.
Different types of trenches, man. That's the trenches.
Yeah. Like, really grinding, really, like, just trying to figure this out. And
Trench
then
work.
everything that you saw was the things that we earned the privilege to do.
Right.
And so I was like, yo, it's perfect. Everything we've gotten thus far, we've earned. And so people got to do the work to have some of the freedom. And so I was like, earn your leisure.
That's good vocab. People don't use that word leisure. I'm a vocab. I'm a lingo man. So
I mean, that's interesting. When I told him and he was using it, it was like, cool. But then I guess he stopped using it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because I never really heard why you told him to go back to it.
At the time, we used to work out a lot. Shout out to my man Vinny, White Plains High School, hit the bleachers. I done bought everybody there. And me and Shotty, we build. That's big bro. So, you know, we build a lot. So he never even, I just see it. I watch. You know, you see stuff on the net. So I remember he would be X, Y, and Z. I remember one time he was eating a slice of pizza downtown or something, and he put hashtag earn your leisure. I'm like, whoa, that's tough. Like I said, we listen to music, you know, in our culture, bars, you know, punchlines. We was wrapped up in that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, that's hard. So I never told him. Then I remember he just stopped out of nowhere. You know, you pay attention to like the certain guys you look up to. Me, I looked up to a lot of different people, street guys, non-street guys, regular guys. All kind of guys, and y'all was some of them. So you pay attention. So I'm like, yo, bro, why you stop using that shit? I'm gonna put this out there. He was gonna use money, power, respect.
That was gonna be the name.
I'm like, not for that, bro. Let's not get carried away here.
Yeah.
Money, power, respect. We gonna cancel that.
Yeah.
I said, earn your leisure. It's just fire. It's the firest shit I ever heard. He was like, I don't know, man. Like, he just wasn't really jacked. I said, no, bro, trust me, bro. You know, I come up with all of the words. I got my own dictionary out here.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I know, you was on the Breakfast Club. I said, damn.
Yeah. So we were sitting in my crib, and we were just like, yo, what's the name? So he had said money, power, respect. I said something else. I was just like, I don't, you know, we ain't gonna be able to use those joints.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, earn your leisure, man. Like, it's already the hashtag. It's crazy now to think, because like when people see us, like we synonymous with that name. Like, it's Troy Rashad, but like bigger than that, yo, that's EYL.
That's EYL.
And so like anybody that wears our shirt is like, yo, y'all know EYL. And it's like, that's crazy because it really was just something that I had created for him to use as a hashtag that now has become a global brand. Yeah. It's Illmatic, bro.
And when you think about it, it's like a lot of major pillars in our culture. It's like it's always 3 letters. You got ROC.
Oh.
EYL's household name.
Yeah, it's
EYL is the different, like, you know, y'all got to figure out something we could throw up for y'all. EYL is one of those, like, you know how you got the diamond, we got to figure out a EYL symbol that we could just, because I could see half the world.
That was very strategic, you know, when it was Earn Your Leisure for a while, but we know things are synonymous with 3 letters, whether it was YSL.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
YSL,
you know what I'm saying? Or even LV, which wasn't 3 letters, but just those letters alone, you know what it meant.
Right.
And so we were like, wait, if YSL, and this is before like sign language and all that.
For sure.
The brand Yves Saint Laurent.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Yeah. That's why I said in Atlanta, we got to clarify that. Yeah. But we were like, look, man, if we just use the EYL, like, that's the brand. Like, that could be synonymous, and that could just be like, you ever, you know, sometimes we be thinking like, you know, the bat signal, like that you be putting up for Batman and shit. We like, yo, it can go up there like that. Yeah. It's gonna be tough to write Earn Your Leisure. They ain't gonna be able to read it, but like if we throw the 3 letters up, they gonna know what that means.
Mike could figure something out.
Yeah.
Mike could figure something out, because that's hard. That's tough.
And then he actually, when we had the name, then he came up with the emojis, and so like we were just using the emoji. Like at the time, Apple had just came up with the facial emojis, and so he was just playing. He was like, "Yo, you think that looks like you?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's good enough." And so
the first shirts actually,
our original logo.
I got those. I got one of those.
Yeah, that's our original joint was Earn Your Leisure with the logo faces, and it threw everybody off because when we put it on like the charts, like after we started bubbling and Now you're looking at these charts, right, for top podcasts in business, and you see like all these professional photos, and then you see these 2 emojis. And you're like,
who's these little niggas?
ooh, what the fuck? Like, is this real?
Yeah, that's
and then
tough.
every time they look, we just keep climbing and
yeah.
climbing until
That's
we hit number 1, and it's like, oh, this is not a game. Like these dudes is really spitting.
Yeah.
But we was really spitting the language that we knew.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's part of the story. This is authentically who we are.
How does that make you feel to come up with? This is like some shit you would see on the pyramids. When you go see the pyramids and you see the language and you see words like artifacts,
Yeah.
you know, back in the day you were educated, you know, you
Yeah,
start
yeah.
seeing certain different types of diamonds to have something that original.
Yeah.
To write a script that went as global could feel.
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
It's pretty surreal, man.
Yeah,
like
what does that feel like?
You know, people like, yo, did you ever dream it would be like this? And I'm like, I don't really think no one dreams that they're gonna create something that's gonna be like this impactful, right? Like nobody is dreaming like I'm gonna do a show that's gonna be a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah.
So it was just like, hey, we're walking in the footsteps left for us, right? Like even if you think on the premise of it, right? Like you got a guy who's in education, a guy who comes from finance, and if you put those 2 things together, you get financial education.
Yeah.
That's fate,
Yeah.
right? Like I was already on that
This is
path of
supposed to
education.
happen.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like he was
absolutely.
already
Yeah.
going down that path.
Right.
But now how do we educate more people? How do we educate our people? And it became through this medium. And so it's humbling, man. And a lot of times, you know, when we're in it, we're so deep rooted inside of the work that we never look back to see the impact. But you can every now and then, you know, you feel it,
Like
right?
you pinch yourself sometimes?
Yeah, well, you
What the
feel
fuck
like
is going on?
people walk up to you and they're talking to you about money and they're showing you how much money they've made and they're showing the businesses that they've created and they're showing like, you know, I was able, you know, to get my daughter back, like all these things, and you're thinking like, word, this is crazy. Like you never know how the lengths that impact and value can go, and so that's why every day I'm like, yo, we're never gonna stop, because every day from the beginning was like, can we just get one more listener a day? Because I know if one person listens, the impact that it could have, like how can it change? What's the trajectory now after they've gotten the information? And people are using it, man, at a different level. I mean,
It's scary.
Imagine walking up to something. Now, when I was 8 years old, I wrote this essay about being a millionaire because in my mind, I always wanted to be one.
Okay.
My mom has it. She, you know,
Wow.
I told her I told her I was going to buy a mansion for myself, and I was going to buy her a mansion and a car. She don't drive, and she's still waiting on her mansion, but I'm gonna revisit that another time, right?
It's coming.
It's coming, right?
It's coming, mama.
So imagine now at 9 wanting to be a millionaire to where we at now, where I'm having people walking up to me saying that I made over $1 million with the information y'all gave me. Like, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this person is literally telling me, like, I've made over $1 million from that information you gave me about that stock or that investment that you said. I'm just like, yo, you made $1 million? Like, you made it? And they're like, yeah, it changed my life. You changed my life. You know, I'm watching dudes you would never think of. And I think that's the beauty of it, right? The dudes that you look like, there's no way these dudes listening to these dudes.
Yeah.
They on the corner. There's no way, right? No way.
No.
Yo, I made 40 bands listening to y'all, bro. Like, that changes somebody's life like that, right?
Instantly.
Because you're not taking the same type of chances that you would if you didn't have the money, right? And so that was our thing. It was like, yo, let's try to educate as many people as possible because we're actually behind on the race. This information has been there. They put it over our heads so that people can understand it. But here we come, simplifying it, decoding the matrix, and now giving it to the people like, here it is.
Yeah.
Here every day. Here it is, here it is, here it is. Now what you do with it is on you. Like that was always my thing. Like, we're gonna provide the information, the application is gonna be on you. What will you do with it?
Yeah.
Right? Prior to this, 10 years ago, that information wasn't ready. Right? There wasn't as many resources, there wasn't many outlets. Them days, there's no excuse anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like even if it's not information that you get from us, somebody's put out information. Now you should always validate and check the resources and do your own research, but it's out there, bro. And prior to us doing it, we didn't see it.
Yeah.
And so like it goes back to that power of impact. 10 years, 15 years from now, we're gonna look back like, yo, this was a moment in history and it started right here.
Where the hell is it like some secret cave y'all found all of this information in? Like, where the hell where you find it? Because beyond.
It's ill.
It's too much information at this point. It's like, what the fuck? Where are you guys finding this stuff at?
I mean, so that's the beauty of doing this, right? Like, and I'm sure you're experiencing it now, where it's like you get to sit down with people and actually get in-depth conversations with them, and they start providing you with things, right? And if you start doing that long enough, you're starting to hear information that you've never heard. And after you have this formal sit down, there's gonna be a conversation after. You know what you said on the episode. How does that really work? How do we? And it got to a point where we would be interviewing people, and I knew the question Shadi was going to ask, and he kind of knew the questions I was going to ask. Yeah. Because I know, after we finish this episode, he's gonna be like, "Yo, we gotta do this." You see what he just said? Like, we got to implement that. And so we started. It became the Napoleon Hill theory, right? Like, Think and Grow Rich. It was like, sit down with as many people as possible, get as much information as you can, put it in a body of work, put it out. Yeah. We literally created a media company to get as much information as we can, put it in a body of work, and let the people get it. Yeah. This is just an audio and visual. He did it in literature. And so it was like, and the people look like us. Right. Right. And so that adds, there's two levels of impact that has, right? Now there's two touch points, because now, prior to that, we thought there was a certain level of things we could be to be successful. Right. If it wasn't entertainment, if it wasn't sports, then what? Like I said, how many people, even you watched me as a teacher, nobody was like, yo, I want to be a teacher like Troy. Yeah, nah. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't looking like,
be like Troy. They want the whip.
They don't want the teacher. They just want like, oh, he has a nice car. Yeah. He's got a crib. Like, he has some stuff going on that's good for him. But like, nah, I was a teacher, bro. But what if we actually added value to that? What if there was like, oh, yo, you should be that, or you could be that. Yeah. What if you could be the accountant, right? What if you could be the tax attorney, right? What if you could be this real estate agent, or what if you was this broker, or what if you know what I mean, you was the restaurateur? What if you was the entrepreneur and investor? Now let's give value to all those things and show you people that look like you that are doing it, so you can believe that it's possible. Yes. Like, because prior to it, how would you know it is possible? How did you know that there was an architect that built, you know, this tower in New Cairo, if nobody told you that it happened, and he looked like you, and he's from Jamaica?
Wait a minute, what? Really? That exists?
How do you do it?
Is this real?
Now that you know it, he's going to tell you how he did it, right? And he's going to show you the benefits of doing it. And he's going to, most times, if you need help, let me show you how to do it. Right. And that didn't happen. So many people from a different generation, they would get the information, they would get to a level of success, and it's like,
fuck yeah.
Cut the rope. Like, I ain't climbing up here with me. Nah. Yeah. I'm going to look down, but you ain't coming up here with me. And that's what's like, yo, as we climbing, we pulling up.
And it's pulling up. Shake your hand.
Yeah,
I gotta shake your hand.
That's been day one.
Right.
That's been day one.
It always. And it never stopped. And that's why I gotta shake your hand, because, like I said, I use this term, revise the cool table. The stuff y'all guys are doing, it looks a lot more fun than the stuff we was doing coming up in the different, situations we was looking up to. But if you guys don't do things like this and touch the land, then we have to then watch you, digitally, which is cool, but it's a different feeling when a Troy Millings walks through Union Studios. Like, oh, damn, that's tough. So, we really appreciate that. What was that? How long into Earn Your Leisure after it was created did you still work as a teacher?
So we started that in January 2019, and by March 2020, so the pandemic starts, that was it. I never went back into the school building as a teacher. Right. And it just so happens, timing of everything, right? Like, we start Earn Your Leisure, we're providing information for about a little over a year, but now everybody has to stay home.
Mm-hmm. That was rough.
People are losing jobs.
Yeah.
People are trying to figure out how to make money. Oh, perfect. We got an avenue for that, right? Like, we got these episodes, these catalog of episodes that you can go back, and now you can find ways to make money. The best thing we did inside of that time was we created another show, Market Mondays.
Yeah, wow.
That's now talk about timing.
Yeah.
Stock market crashes. It was. I remember people calling people like, "Yo, when is it gonna stop falling?" But that was a blessing, right? Because as the stock market starts flowing, we start a show like, "Hey, you should invest." It almost became throw a dart at the board, pick a stock. They're all gonna have to appreciate at some point. And so we're starting to sleep. Like, we pick the apples, we picking like solid companies like we are. And these companies are like, choo, choo, choo. I remember probably like beginning of March of 2020, Me and Shadi had done an episode, and I was like, yeah, they're talking about everybody staying home and working from home. So you know what's going to help right now? Companies like Zoom, because Zoom is going to allow people to connect with each other without being in the same place. And I literally watched Zoom over the next month.
Yeah, that was
like,
small observation,
right?
Yeah,
and so like that's how I'm looking at things. I'm not looking at it like, oh, buy that because it's cool. I'm looking like what's going to be needed in the near future and long term for survival, really, right? And so, what are people going to need if they're going to stay home? They're probably going to need computers, right? Because if you don't have one, how are you going to communicate if you can't leave?
None.
So then you see the uptick in computer sales, you see the uptick in tablets, you see the uptick in phones. All these technology companies that are providing it, we're going to see upticks. So we create the show and people start investing their own money, and now it's like they had no idea what stocks were prior. They're in the game and they're making money. And once you start making people money,
they love you. So come here.
Is it
where you gonna be at?
Not
Okay,
only
I'll
do
be
they
there.
love you, but they're gonna start telling their friends how much they love you. And it's like if you make $10,000 in 2 months, yo, you're gonna tell your man, like, bro, come rock with these dudes. Like, this shit is legit. Like, I got 10 bands right now. Right now, you feeling comfortable telling your man, yo, I got 10. Whereas before, he's like, you ain't even telling dudes, like, yo, I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm decent.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then now you're getting more people coming in because they're like, they giving out for free. Oh, wait. Oh, shit, I'm making money. Oh, wait. I'm tuning into these dudes every week. And that's going on for the past almost 4 years now.
Yeah, that's
4 years, bro.
Yeah, Market Monday.
4 years.
Yikes. I feel like that's where you guys get a lot of y'all love too. Because, I mean, to the outside looking in, it looks like a fast uprise. Like it just went, phew. And I feel like, you know, you guys have rubbed shoulders with a little bit of everybody in the culture. Like Mike said, y'all are going, what was the morning show, ABC.
Oh, yeah. I told Mike,
Yeah.
I called him after he said that. I'm like, yo, it's just easier to keep it synonymous with the letter B, right?
Yeah.
And so we can go from Button to Bloomberg, right? So
that was tough.
So we can literally,
like that.
we could do Button show, but
Let's clip that up.
yeah, so we can do, but we can also be on Bloomberg.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
can be on the Breakfast Club, or we can be on CNBC.
Yeah.
Because we have that duality. We can go on, you know what I'm saying, lip service with Yee.
Yeah, shout out to Yee.
And we can be on Mano's joint, but we could also be on Good Morning America.
Yes.
We just have a level of duality because we're
Got a culture, man.
Yeah, we
Got all
embedded
this.
in culture.
You listen to rap. You guys
Yeah.
aren't just riding, you know, no disrespect to the, you know, just
Nah.
guys. Like,
But
y'all are part of, y'all are us.
We and I think what you said is important. Was like we made it cool to be smart.
Yeah.
Like, because we was always intelligent.
Yeah.
Like, but we was always cool too.
Yeah.
And we like to dress and we like nice things. Just like our favorite rappers do.
Hello.
But now we have the opportunity to teach how you can do this in an educated way. And so when people see us in the cars, like I told you, like, yo, bro, they gonna think I'm stunting on them, but I'm not.
Yeah.
This is really a tax play, right? They gonna see us in a nice watch. They're gonna be like,
what kind of car? Can we
no,
what we got going on?
No, we can show them better.
Okay, we
tell
can show them. Okay, but what we got over there? What's going on the left wrist?
Oh, the Rollie?
Yeah.
Well, this is another way we can teach them.
Okay. Yeah. So break it down, man. Break down science.
I mean, so when we talk about appreciating assets,
Got a tattoo on my
right?
wrist. It's coming, pending.
We talk about appreciating assets, right? Assets that go up over time. If you look at right now, gold is hit its all-time high, right? And so if you look at Rolex, like this is a gold Rolex, right? These are factory diamonds, right? Like I bought this watch in 2020, and I think it's going up in value by 52%.
Been getting to it. It's 2020. That's my 2020 watch. Man.
Yeah. This was my gift to myself in 2020. But it's going up by 52%, right? And so now, like, think about that. If I bought it almost 4 years ago and it's going up 52%, well, what happens when I have it for 10 years? What happens if I keep it for 20 years? Now this doesn't look like a bad purchase. This looks like an investment. And so we're showing people how to make an investment. Nah, I didn't bust it down, right, which devalues the watch. Nah, I kept the factory diamonds on it, and I'll be able to pass this watch down to my son. He might keep it.
The Christian, man.
Right? He might keep it. My daughter might, we got a couple, so my daughter get one. She keeps it. We know that there's value in this.
Yeah.
Whereas if I would have did something different with it, if I would have booted at a club or something like that, I would have got no return on this. I can sell this any day and get value for it. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be a transactional value with it that's associated with it. So it doesn't look like a bad investment. Whereas like for my necklace, right, that I made, it's going to be tough for me to sell this again. But this was like my tattoo. Can y'all see it? You can see it?
No, I can't see it. Huh? But I didn't even. Oh Lord, what we got going on?
So
You just stunting, man. Somebody pass me a chain. I just got a chain back there.
No. Nah, so I got no tattoos. So I keep my family close to me. So like my
yeah.
I don't even know. This Christian?
This is
Jordan. So this is my wife.
That's Danielle.
And my son.
Yeah,
right.
That's tough.
Right. It's gonna be tough for me to resell this though, but that's okay.
It's custom.
It's custom, right?
Yeah, that's
exactly. So that's specifically for me.
Yeah.
Because again, like I don't have no tattoos. I never really wanted it, but I was like, I wanted something to keep my family with me at all times and show them that they always with me because we do travel a lot.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be tough for me to resell. Whereas a watch, and I got a pretty decent collection of watches, those hold value, maintain value, and they can be sold at a different point. But most guys, they're not looking at it like that.
No.
They're not looking at it as a develop. Yeah, like I got the biggest watch, I got the brightest watch, I ain't got the nice watch, I got the right watch. That's our thing.
Smart stunting.
Yeah. We make it look good.
Yeah.
We make it look good.
We're going to find something for it.
Yeah, but there's plenty of other things that we can do it in, right? Like even with sneakers, like I'm a huge sneaker guy.
Absolutely.
You know.
He been to the crib.
Nah, I got some new joints that, yeah, nah, it's stupid. It's stupid. I might release.
You know these guys personally now.
Yeah, he been, you know, he's seen a couple of my kids.
I'm talking about the sneakers, the people who.
Oh yeah,
sneakers.
well that
you know a lot of these
yeah.
guys.
So now it's getting to a point where
now.
it's getting to a point where it's like, even from that standpoint, like yes, they are nice to have, but yes, they appreciate too, right? Like I mean, modestly speaking, 6-figure collection. You would say?
Modestly.
Yeah.
You got a whole salary. You got more stuff. I get paid base salary like 80 a year.
I love sneakers though. I really do. I really love sneakers. I really love sneakers, bro. So like I got a collection. Some of them I do wear, but some I haven't worn because I know the value is just gonna appreciate in them over time.
What's your favorite brand?
Favorite shoe or brand?
A sneaker.
I mean, I'm a Nike head.
You're a Nike.
Yeah, I'm a Nike head. My favorite shoe is Jordan 11.
Jordan 11.
And then the 3. It's like a top.
Griffies. Like what's about the
Griffies is dope. Griffies is dope.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember being in school trying to get those joints. Griffies is always going to be a legendary shoe, but I'm going to show you a joint after this that is going to fuck y'all up.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
Yeah, everybody in here going to get fucked up.
Yeah. Serious topic. No, I ain't going to say serious topic. I just do want to touch. I feel like you're the perfect.
There's nothing to stop here.
Oh, shit. I just woke up. Pardon me. Siri's crazy. She's acting like Alexa. Back to you, Troy.
Yeah.
In this industry that you're in, me and Mike touched on this, but I feel like me knowing you wholeheartedly, you're a good candidate on speaking on marriage.
Yeah.
How long have you been married?
I'm going on year 12.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going on year 12.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you look at the pictures, you know, you travel a lot. Shout out to your family, Jordan, Christian, Danielle, bringing them on that journey. What are some things that you would recommend a young entrepreneur who wants to get married or is married and also sustain a healthy marriage? Because this is this industry, the job looks too fun.
It's nasty work.
It looks too fun. It's nasty work.
Yeah.
It's missiles. It's napalm bombs flying across your head at 80 miles per hour, 24/7.
Yeah.
But you gotta, how do you block that noise out and just focus on the fortress?
I think it is deep rooted in who you are,
right?
And the character of the person that you are.
Yes.
Even y'all know me before I was married,
definitely.
And y'all, it'd be tough for you to say like, yo, he was in some messy shit. Like,
yeah.
It was never me. I've always been like a guy that was in a relationship, but was always super respectful with everything that I did, and especially when it came to women, and especially when it came to relationships for me. But I think the most important thing, and I'll say this like candidly, like the most important thing in any relationship is communication.
Definitely.
And implicit and explicit communication. There's a lot of things that can get misconstrued and can be taken out of context. If not communicated in the right way. And so I'm big on context. Those are my I just had this conversation today.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, with my wife, I was just like, yo, I'm big on two things, and that's context and perspective. And I had to mature into that. I learned being in a marriage, it was like, it's cool to get your point across, but your point isn't always the only thing that matters. In fact, if you try to win every battle, you're going to actually lose the war.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because you're not hearing the other side's perspective. And once I really understood that, it was like, I hear myself talking, but let me hear what you're saying to understand where you're coming from, because it'll lead to a point where like you don't even want to talk to me anymore because you know you're not going to even be, you don't have the wherewithal or the stamina to get into a debate because it's never going to be an argument. It's just a misunderstanding. But like I grew up in that. Like even now with me, like me and Shadi, like if you ever see us talk, nobody ever wins. We just stop.
That's it.
Right? But when you're in a marriage, there's a balance because you're gonna be with that person for the rest of the day. You're gonna wake up to that person. So having that is important, and having them involved, especially if you're an entrepreneur, having them involved in a situation means so much more. I mean, it alleviates some of the explaining that you have to do, and it helps on the other side of the family component because there's a certain level of understanding that has to go into this, right? Like I might have to be gone for 10 days because I'm on business, and so who's raising the family?
Absolutely.
But if the person's involved in the situation and they understand it wholeheartedly, and they actually encourage it, like I always say, like I wouldn't be as successful if I didn't have a strong partner like Danielle.
Definitely.
Like it just wouldn't be possible. But bigger than her being like my partner, like she's like one of my, like probably my best friend. Like I tell her, like I remind her, like, yo, you're my favorite person. Like you're my favorite person. Why? Because I know there's a couple people in this world that no matter what has my best interest in mind. But I know definitely there's one person that will die with my best interest in mind. She's willing to do that. She's been a rider, pretty much since I know her. And so having her being involved with the business, being able to be honest with her, I mean, those are really the keys that I've seen for us that has worked. As far as, temptation, all that, I mean, that's part of this life. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've never been on that type of time, you know what I'm saying? And I value our relationship so much, right? And especially people like, yo, you get to a certain point and it's like, you don't want to make any mistakes. But I was like, before I was at this point, I wasn't trying to make no mistakes. You know what I'm saying? It's just not the character of who I am. And so you could even imagine as I've grown and things have scaled to a different level. I'm like, nah, man, the person that was here with me when we were starting this thing and prior to all this, well, she's going to get the spoils of everything. You know what I'm saying? Because she deserves it, number one. But more importantly, I want to do it. Like I want to provide for her. I want to take care of her.
Good.
I want to be an example for my daughter to see how a man should treat his wife, and I want to be an example for my son of how he should treat, how a wife should treat her husband, and I want to be an example for my son of how he should treat his wife in the future, because that's important, man. Leading by demonstration, I'm big on, and so they're gonna see that with their parents. They're gonna see like, yo, I'm gonna hug your mom. She's my wife, and but she's my wife. My wife first.
Yes, and that's why I want to take time to shed light on that because we need to praise that more because I just feel like it's Black culture for young men. A huge part of our makeup is how many women you get. Like that defines a lot of young Black men. We're defined by how many women we deal with, and really when you get to the age I'm at. And the age you at, you start wanting stability.
It's like, do it matter?
It's just so It's so we like I said, part of revising the cool table, and often, a lot of households don't have the father and the mother in the same household.
Right.
Our culture, so those numbers is.
I
talk about stock market crashing. The father in the household numbers is.
Well, I mean that's why
it's
encouraging when I see young men like yourself. And a lot of, there was that myth that Black men don't take care of their children, and I'm like, well, all the Black men I know are in their children's life and actually take care of their children. So imagine there was a generation when they were saying that wasn't happening. I'm like, nah, we here to debunk all that. You know what I mean? And I mean, that's just natural, like men as conquerors, right? Like how many people can we, but as you grow and you mature, you realize that, sex is cool, but it's a part of a relationship.
It is.
It's a piece,
Yes.
right? There's many different pieces that complete a relationship. If that's the only thing, it's not gonna last long.
No.
And that's cool. And everybody's not meant to get married.
No.
You know what I mean? Everybody's
That's
not, at that level of commitment, and nor do they have to be or should they force to be. But as long as I'm here, I'm gonna try to, like I said, lead by demonstration. Because not only is my community watching, but there's people who follow us now, and they look at me like, yo, I appreciate how you show your family. Because a lot of things about my life are public, right? Like, I went from being a teacher to being a public figure.
Yeah, you're Trey Millings.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like a public figure.
Yeah.
No funny games. It's my first and my last.
Birth certificate.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that I like to live a public figure life, but I have private components of my life,
100%.
right? So like my kids didn't ask to, people to be taking pictures of them and stopping their dad in the airport, and we eat out to dinner and people want to take pictures with their pops. And then, for them, I look at them a lot of times and like, I wonder how they're dealing with this, right? Because I could imagine I'd be acting a fool.
It's freaky.
Yeah, like my daughter, she's on.
Yeah.
She's having me pick her up, and so people can see what daddy's driving.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's on one.
Well, that's a goal too as parents. You want your kids to be able to be proud of you. You
Yeah,
want to be
yeah,
somebody
yeah,
that
yeah.
your kids can brag on.
Yeah, it's crazy. We went to so
Yeah.
I went to back to school night.
Okay, you still do that.
Yeah, I'm active, bro.
sure.
Yeah, I'm at back to school night and all that. I'm
I
at
already know,
parent teacher conferences and all that. Like,
Right.
I'll catch a flight back home and be there for that.
Trust me, I get it.
So it's me and Kiss. Shout out to Kiss.
Jadakiss.
Yeah, our kids go to the same school.
Oh,
and
shit.
The next day, yeah, it's crazy. Every year we see each other. Like, I know we're gonna. He be there too. He's active too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He be at parent teacher
sure.
conference, and every year we go. But this year, my son was like, "Dad, they said that somebody's father's a millionaire in the school." I was like, "Word?" I said, "Who said that?" He was like, "Oh, the kids are talking about it." I was like, "Who you think they talking about?" He was like, "Probably Jadakiss."
They don't even know.
I'm like, yeah,
They don't even know.
I'm like, yeah, you probably right.
Yeah, you probably right, son. We ain't millionaires yet.
Yeah,
That's tough.
But that was something,
That's
when
priceless
I went
moment.
back to my school.
It's priceless.
Yeah, I went back to my school in the Bronx because I just thought it was important. And I was like, do you shy away from things like that? Do you not tell your kids like, yo, this is how much you're worth, and yes, you're a million? And I was like, nah, you actually lean into it because you want to make it aspirational. And so I told the kids like, yo, have you ever met a millionaire before? Like, they were like, nah. I'm like, well, you're talking to one right now.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Right now. The guy who used to be in your gym teaching you is now a millionaire and has created $1 million brands. And I'm not saying that to be braggadocious, but I'm saying that to be inspirational. I'm saying it to say, like, I come from the environments that you come from. I know what it's like. I know the barriers that you face. Don't let that be the roadblock, though. Right? Like, this is really possible. Yeah, this is not a ceiling. Like, you know what I mean? There is no ceiling to this, right? Like, if you are creative, if you have the right mindset, if you have discipline, if you found the right people, if you learn how to network and build relationships, anything is possible. I don't want to limit you to just saying, hey, I was a great student. Be a great person, but also add value to people's lives. And so that actually switched. It was like from a point where it's like, yeah, you don't want people to know what you're doing, to like, nah, really lean into that because somebody's watching you like, yeah, I can do that now. I heard him. I can do that. I seen them. I know I can do that.
Yeah, this is the same.
Yeah, we can grab that. It's obtainable. And same thing for where we at, bro. Like, I say we from Greenberg because we really are.
Yes.
Right? And for us in this town, it's like, how many people do we know ascend to that level?
Not a lot.
Not a lot, right? But we can
lot.
say like, yo, we know some guys that did it and they created brands that generated millions of dollars and they helped impact millions of people. And they came from this place right here. Like they worked at that place right there. They went to school right there. They used to live right here.
Ate over here. Been at this
Yeah,
restaurant.
and
Used to get beef patty.
Yeah, and you liable to see them.
Yeah, right there.
You liable
in
to see
different cars every year.
You liable to see them.
Pre-EYL.
That's a
Shotty
fact.
had a Mercedes that parked itself.
That's a
I never,
fact.
Tails was like, what the? G?
Yeah, that was the white joint. I had the truck that parked it. Yeah.
I gotta shout y'all out too. I went through that just goes to show you the power of energy. We was all in LA, 1, 2, and 3, all around the same time.
Yes.
Y'all was out there getting rich.
Working.
I was out there fighting for
Earning
my
our
life.
leisure.
Yeah, I was earning my hospital bill. And you guys actually, that's crazy. Earning your hospital is wild.
Nah, I spoke to you the day before.
I spoke to you the day before.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to meet up. I was gonna definitely come check y'all out. And I went through, my situation.
Yep.
And when I came back, we did a group FaceTime, man.
Yeah.
And I was going through a time period where we didn't square it away with my job yet.
Yeah.
Brittany and I, so it's like
Shout out to her.
Shout out to her for sure. The money she came to get a nigga. She
Yeah.
That's a whole nother.
That's a whole.
That's a whole nother batch of yayo right there. That was wild.
I'm glad you shout out to her.
For sure.
So when we started
That's
that,
one of your
Crossroads
mentees,
Mission,
too.
this is what so most people just think like, yo, Ab is here because he's he's been with me for so long. But there's plenty of people, and there's plenty of
Shout out
people
to
who
Ed
I was
Poe.
like, yo, I'm gonna try to mentor, try to help as much as I can, and they just as successful.
Yeah.
Like they're successful in their own right.
Yeah.
They're not working with Earn Your Leisure per se, but they're successful in doing what they do.
Red hands in their stories.
There's a bunch.
Well.
There's a bunch.
It's not one profession.
Yeah.
Ab, it just was different. We're gonna get to Ab.
Yeah.
But y'all definitely came through in a clutch. We did our group FaceTime.
Yep.
I gave y'all a Cash App, and I'm like, holy, that shit brought me to tears. So I got to shake your hand for that.
Yeah, nah, it was a no, like
It was
a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? Like you mean something to us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So anytime somebody needs anything, especially from my town and dudes that we really rock with, like we really rock with you, Chuck. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Y'all always been like our young boys. You know what I'm saying? 100%. So it was like, yo, if y'all needed something, there's nothing. Anytime, you call me.
Come on, bro.
Like I told you, like people, it's gonna be tough to see me, right? Because I'll be like just cruising by, not just chilling. But if somebody call me, like if y'all call me, it's easy. I'm there.
Oh, you're definitely one of the ones I could. You're one of the millionaires that's reachable. You're a reachable millionaire. You definitely touch the land. As we start to wrap this, actually no.
Where you want to go?
I want to get
next?
I want to get into Ab.
Let's do that.
We talk about Abdullah. I had him sitting right where you were sitting at.
Yeah, I was proud of him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
He's another kid. I know Ab shit. 3/4 of his life.
Yeah.
Crossroads, like I was telling him.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that was a program that I feel like this community center as a whole definitely molded, I feel like, his personality.
Mm-hmm.
But for you, y'all have a special connection.
Yeah.
Talk about Abdullah, your first moments with him, and what exactly he means to you. Because like I told him, rest in peace to his father.
Yep.
His father, that's a father's dream to leave your son in the hands of a Troy Millings.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate those words. I mean, you know what? When I try to think about it sometimes, like who he is to me, it's tough. Like he's like a little brother, but there's certain levels where I'm like, yo, this is like my son. Like, but he's not my son. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I met him when he was very young, man. He was, just a bright kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm always gravitating towards the kids that I'm like, yo, he's bright. With good direction, he could be out of here. And I'm like, he's one of them.
Wow.
So he must have been like 3rd or 4th grade. And again, I'm working at the center, but I'm checking his homework. And he's one of these kids is like, he's finished with homework. Like, I don't even need to check his homework. I'm just checking it to make sure that he's done it right. And by the time he's like, he just wants to go play. I'm like, nah. I think I pissed him off one day. He always had that that attitude that he's stubborn as hell.
Watching you speak about him.
Yeah, he's just so damn stubborn sometimes. I'm like, nah, sit down. We're not going. You ain't do this right. He was tight. He still holds a grudge for that when I did that to him. Yeah, he's like, yo, you just make me do my homework. I'm like, listen to what you're saying. I used to make you do your homework. And then watched him grow, and I had an opportunity to hire him for the program. And I approached him because I'm like, yo, you're going to be next up, bro. Like, he's like 16 maybe. I'm like, yo, you're going to be next up. I know it. Just stay close. I used to tell him all the time, yo, just stay close, stay close. And he was like, nah, I'm kind of good where I'm at, bro. Like, I really like what I'm doing over here. I'm like, look, come over here. I can't tell you what it's like over here, but you want to be over here.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You want to be over here. Man. And then I'll never forget the next spring. Actually, Britt called me. Britt was the first, but she was like, hey, Britt called me. And she was like, yo, Ab's dad died. I'm like, what you talking about? She was like, yo, his dad died. I'm like, when? She was like, today. I'm like, what? Where? She was like, he's at work. She was like, have you spoken to him? I'm like, nah, but I'm going to call him right now. And I never forget, I called him. I'm like, yo, bro, I just heard what happened. This is terrible. But look, you're going to work with me this year. And I know last year I asked you. This year I'm telling you. And I'm going to make sure you get more money than you ever got. I'm going to make sure you have more fun than you've ever had. And I'm going to make sure you learn more than you ever could. I hung up the phone. I said, look, when you get back home, I want you to fill out the application just as a formality, but we're going to take care of the rest. And the reason I did that is because I admired his pops. Like, I remember watching his pops every day come pick him up. I told him, I remember very vividly, he had that Acura MDX, that great joint. It had just came out. And he would come pick him up. And Pops was just so stoic, just a good man. And I was like, I respected how his sons looked at him and how they loved him. And I was like, that's a dope dad.
Yeah.
And so knowing that that person, that figure, was no longer here,
Yeah.
I'm like, I know what that could do to a young man. It's weird because I'm saying I know what that can do to a young man.
You can only imagine.
I can only imagine because my dad is still here.
But it's still the empathy. That's
You
the
know what I'm
Pisces in us,
saying?
too. We see it before.
I can empathize with it. Like, yo, what could happen to this kid who was super bright, has this beautiful future? He loses such a big piece of his life. This could go either way. Yeah. And so that's why I didn't leave him. Yeah, I didn't leave him an option. I was like, you coming with me. And that was 2016. And bro, he hasn't left me since.
Hasn't. Still with me.
Yeah, that's why I always put still on everything he puts. I always put still because I'm like, yo, he's still with me. So it wasn't like, yo, he out of nowhere. Like, nah, this dude has been with me from 2016 up to the point when I was trying to figure out how I'm gonna scale Crossroads. I left him in charge of the program because in my mind, I was like, I can't do this forever. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna teach you how to do it so you can run it for yourself. And one summer, I let him run it because I was actually implementing it in New Rochelle. And every day I check in, I'd be like, yo, how you doing? How's it? He's like, yo, bro, I don't know how you do this. I'm like, what? He's like, yo, bro, I don't know how you do this shit, bro. I'm serious. Like, they fucking pissing me off. Like, I can't do this shit. I'm like, nah, bro, you got this. He was like, nah, bro, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm like, yo, the only reason I'm putting you in this position is because I know you can do it. Like, yeah, you seen what it is, right, to be on the other side of this, but you built for this moment. And so I saw how he handled himself, how he kept things organized. I'm like, he gonna get it. And then one day we was on the bus, no joke. I said, yo, bro, one day you gonna work for me in a different capacity. And he looked at me, stubborn. He's like, why would I work for you?
And he's a whole print somewhere.
He's like, yo, why would I work for you? He's like, yo, why would I work for you? Like, you think I'm gonna go to school for 4 years to come work for you? I'm like, yo, but
you said it like that?
Dead ass. I'm like,
I've always been low. He act light skinned.
I'm like, yo, what if I could pay you $150,000? He said, you didn't say that. I'm like, well, you just told me you wouldn't work. I didn't tell you I was gonna pay you. He was like, well, he was like, I'm not going to school for 4 years. I'm like, all right, we're gonna remember this, right? And so we doing Earn Your Leisure, and I'm like, yo, stay close, bro. You know the rules, right? I tell everybody stay close, but some people just. It's the easy rule, but everybody don't follow it. Sure. They go do their own thing or try to figure. I'm like, that's cool. Figure your own thing. But stay close to this. We're going to figure this out. We, worry about money. I'm like, yo, bro, don't worry about money. We're going to figure this out. We lose some, we're going to get it back. Don't worry about it. And then we do Earn Your Leisure. And I'm like, man, I could use his help.
Yeah.
So we started, shout out to my man, MG. He was putting a course together. And I was like, yo, Ab, I actually could use you, right? Like, I'm going to come up with some questions for this course as an assessment, but I want you to help me. If you can help me, I'm gonna pay you. Just to help me, I'm gonna pay you.
Yeah, definitely.
So he that's the first thing he did. Like, he wasn't working for Earn Your Leisure. He wasn't working for Earn Your Leisure. I was just paying him. Yeah, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna throw him some bread if he can help me. Then we had another opportunity. I was like, I'm gonna throw him some bread just so he helped me. He's like, yo, he killed that. Yeah. I'm like, I bet I could trust him with some stuff. Then I was like, yo, I got some other stuff. Every now and then, like, if I need his help, I hit him over some bread, he come help me. To a point, I was like, yo, we got to bring him on board. Yo, he's too valuable. Yeah. And then this dude just went berserk. I mean, like, you talking about a level of professionalism, a level of organization, a level of punctuality. I mean, to a person, every person that comes in contact with him who doesn't know us, they rave about him when he's not there. And that says a lot. That says a lot about the character of the person, right? What they say about you when nobody's around, when you're not around. And every time he's not around, people speak so highly of him. I'm like, yo, he's got it. Yeah. And so I've always said he's the next. And to the point now, it's like he's got his own business. You know what I'm saying? He's in a different tax bracket.
He's doing his thing. Yeah, that's not low.
You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if proud is the word, right? But I'm more elated that it's happening to him and the way it's happening to him. He's a father now. I'm happy that it's happening to him in the way it is because it could have went a lot of different ways. But I told him, it ain't about paying me back. It's about the same level of concern, empathy, opportunity that was given to you. Now look at the next generation. And so you see him grab Pierre, you see him grab Dom. It was like, this is how community works.
In the backyard, he grabbed them.
Yeah, this is how community works, right? Like, I got to find the next tier of guys because we ain't gonna be here forever. And that was always my mindset, like, find the next guy. But that's hip hop, right? Like, I'm listening to Jay. His first album, he has Bleak.
Yep.
I'm telling Bleak, yo, this is the coming of age.
Yeah.
His first album, he's saying like, you're the guy that's gonna replace me. This is his first album. And so in my mind, I'm like, yo, I gotta find the person that's gonna replace me every time. So I'm always finding the next person who's younger than me to try to replace me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm just thinking like,
You know
wow.
what I mean? That's how I'm looking at it.
So
I'm
much
like,
strategy. Like
it's like, who's gonna be the next person that I can give all this that I've learned to, and they can pass it down, and then they can pass it down, and they can pass it down. Because when we all said and done, the only thing left would be our legacy, and we can't write it.
Mm-hmm.
I always like looked at that. That's that mindset, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's deep.
who writes your legacy when you're gone? The people that you've impacted. And so I make sure that I'm super intentional about every interaction, every picture. You know, anybody want to talk, I'm gonna give them that time, because that person is part of my legacy.
Yeah.
They're gonna write the story of how I made them feel in that moment. That they'll never forget.
That matters.
Every kid that was sat in my classroom, they're part of my legacy. The town, all these people, they all part of the legacy. Mm-hmm. But what will they write in your legacy, right? Because they'll just get to write it. I never get to read it.
Yeah.
You know, so I want to make sure that everybody has something positive to say. Yeah. And that's the goal, really. It was like, how do we leave? Like, keep giving in to the people that's younger than you. And then now you got a bunch of legacy writers, right? Like now, this ain't like a picture book. Yeah. This is a novel that they're gonna write about the impact that you had.
That's important. Wow. That's actually, I'm gonna take that and start being mindful of that. Because with that mindset, you just start paying attention to your moves and how you move. It's important how you treat people.
Of course.
Impressions, first impressions, last impressions is very important. And you are a people person. I call you like the evil twin, like Shotty's gonna piss them off. You're gonna be the one, listen, man. This is, that's kind of like your role. It's a natural role.
I think we've fallen into that, right? Like, we've fallen into that.
Shotty's the villain.
He likes that. Yeah. I mean, I know
fits it perfectly.
I know him differently.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he likes that. He thrives in that.
It works.
He enjoys it in that. I love being who I get to be. But that's the beautiful thing, right? Like, we get to show up authentically as ourselves every single day.
Yes. That's
like,
it. Wake up.
People got to figure out who they are from day to day, which is tough to maintain. But we show up as ourselves every single day. And that's why people rock with us, because it's like, yo, that's a dude I could meet on a street corner. Like, I fuck with them. Yeah. Like, I really fuck with these guys. Like, they feel like they know us, and they do. They listen to us long enough, they know us. Yeah. And so, like, that's what separates us. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, we all fall into our roles, man. I'm super, into numbers. I'm super organized. You know what I mean? I do a lot of reading. Yeah. And so naturally, like, anything that comes across the comes across the line, I'm looking at it, I'm reading at it. I want to make sure that it's right. I want to make sure that it makes sense for us as a brand. I want to make sure that it makes sense for the brand that, that's coming along, and the deal makes sense. So I'm super involved in all that. Shotty loves social media. I never would want to take that from him. I tried it. I'm not great at it. Let him be great at it. And that's teamwork. Mike's great. We, a lot of the back end and technical stuff and working in the technology. I don't want to take that from him. Let him be great at it. But what I will do, and I know Alex, he probably could attest to, is that I want to know a little bit about all of it. Mm-hmm. So, like, of course.
Understand the language.
Of course. Yeah. So, like, if nobody's around, we got to keep this thing going. So, if he can't get to social media, I know I can do it. If Mike can't do anything in the background, like, he come to my crib all the time. Like, it's me in the room, bro. It's me in the room setting these cameras up, setting the mics up.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's,
you still, I still the janitor.
Well, it's important. I learned that from Nip, right? He was like, yo, if the engineer don't show up tonight, we still need to record.
Rest in peace to Nip.
You know what I'm saying? So if the engineer don't show up, we still got to record. So I'm like, all right, well, I better learn how to record. Right. I better learn how to film. If the person who's not going to be on the cameras ain't going to be here, we still got to film, right? Yeah. So let me make sure I understand how to use these cameras. Like, the first thing I walked in, I'm like, oh, bro, you got some black magics. Dope. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, straight up. Right. I know these black magics. He know I know them. Yeah, but that's part of the evolution too, right? Yeah. Like, we started with those G95s. We had the black magic, and now we got the Komodos. Yeah. But I got to learn how to use those. Yeah. The short mics. Like, I remember when you didn't have a short mic.
You remember you just had that?
I was calling, like, I'm like, yo, Ab, you know what I'm saying? Tell him he got to get those mics. If he need mics, we go get him some, right? Like, tell him he shouldn't shoot in that angle. He should shoot like this. Yeah. So I'm watching it like, yo, I'm just trying to help.
I'm just glad you're watching, honestly.
We see everything. I see what Chuck's doing.
Yeah, shout out to bro.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta come chill with him.
That's love.
But like, people looking at it like, yo, Spanx got Troy to come on the show. I'm like, of course, that's the bro. We gonna do that.
People don't know the history. Like this is pre-EYL relationships and bonds, man. This is doing these.
Yeah, we got some stories with Chuck too, man.
Yeah,
that hopefully
that's who introduced me. It's great. Chuck is important because that's who brought me to the table. You know, everybody got their +1. Yeah, I was Chuck. Chuck's was always fucking with y'all. You know, I was kind of like over here and over there.
That dude was my camper, bro, when he was in 4th grade.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I
don't even call him Chuck. I'm calling him Chuck because he
because we call him Chuck. Yeah,
that's your thing.
That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? So like watching him grow, watching what he's doing, being entrepreneurs like y'all being. I forgot that part about being entrepreneurs. But I'm just like, yo, man, why wouldn't we salute? We should be celebrating that. We should be saluting that because we need more of it. In fact, there's a younger generation that's watching you like, damn, them dudes is doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all part of it. Everybody has a role to play. And I'm glad that y'all stepping up and playing y'all.
Oh, yeah, we got to. And like I said, these is all EYL inspired
I appreciate
situations.
it, bro.
And that's what people don't really see before we get into our final 2 topics. People don't really get a chance to, people don't really understand. I say don't count the size of the favor, just take a favor as a favor. There's ways to capitalize off of the success of other people without being a leech. Yeah. Right now, y'all are from the same place a lot of people are from. Y'all are doing what y'all doing. Naturally, the eyes is on the town. So it'd be a good time for if you're in the town and from the town or even live in the town or have any affiliation with the town to do something. To do something because the light is already there. The eyes is already there. So that's the time to, you know, come out with whatever it is. But, you know, people don't look at it like that. As we wrap it up, man, Market Monday's World Tour, we headed to, where we headed to?
We headed to Ghana, man, which is incredible. You know, this journey that Market Mondays is taking us on. I mean, just out of this world, you know what I'm saying? Like we started this, like I said, March 2020 with the idea, did the first show in April 2020. And now we're traveling country to country. You know, we started in LA this year on the first stop of the tour, did 2 shows, sold out in Toronto, incredible. Then went to London, sold out London, and then did Chicago, and now we ended it in Ghana. And for so many reasons, that's, you know, super important.
Oh my God.
The connection that we want to make with, you know, Africa is something we're super intentional about and we're very passionate about because that land means so much to our culture for so many reasons.
Definitely.
But there's been there's been a disconnect for so many years because of perception. And a lot of it has to do with media and us coming in as a media company, having the ability to shape perspective, having the ability to show a different light, I think is important. And part of the reason we're going there. But part of it is, you know, we want to shed the light on people that are doing amazing things. And so we're not taking it for granted that, you know, we're sitting down with a billionaire who's from Ghana. So let's celebrate that. You know what I'm saying? And we're doing it. And we're doing it in Ghana, in Accra. You know what I mean? And then we want to build relationships there. You know, like it's not just, hey, it's the month of December, everybody's having a party. It's like, nah, we want to plant firm roots so that people are looking at Ghana and specifically Accra as a place that you can come back and invest. So it's not just I'm coming in December. I'm here in January, I'm here in February, March, April, May. I'm here throughout the year because I understand the power of investing in this land and the power of economics and education on a population that's so young and needs it so dearly, what it can have. And so Ghana is just the first stop, but you're gonna see us in a bunch of countries in Africa, to be honest with you, because like I said, it's bigger than just a message that needs to be relayed here in the United States. It needs to be relayed everywhere. And we don't want to be, you know, invasive of spreading our information on their population when it doesn't make sense. We want to touch base with the people who are actually doing it there so we can, you know, build with, you know, have relationships, but network and see how the lay of the land works, how the laws work, so that when we come in there, you know, we can be a part of the solution.
All right, we're going to take a break from today's show and talk about some beef jerky. Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, man. Looking for a nice healthy snack packed with protein? Get you some packages of this. We got the Truffalo Bill. I didn't try this one yet, but it says a potent pioneer of American flavor frontier. Wow, that sounds scary. Righteous Felon, I don't even know if one of those exists, but according to the package, it does. We have the Bourbon Franklin, an American dream of bourbon and vanilla bean. Ooh, a little sweet, huh? Check out the OG Hickory beef stick. savory and smoky beef stick. Hey, ladies, relax. I'm reading the flavor off a song. Don't melt on camera, man. This ain't 50 Shades of Grey. We got y'all know about this already. The teriyaki balboa. This is actually my favorite one for obvious reasons. Bull. Y'all know my history with the bull, and y'all know my history with the boxing gloves. But tangy teriyaki with a punch of pepper. And then finally, we have the lemon pepper and citrus basil beef stick. Hey, get your beef sticks. And they even got merch now too, man. Look, check them out. The good teriyaki balboa. It has this nice jail scripture on the back. Maybe I'll read it to you one day. I'm off probation, so. Hats. I would try it on, but I got a funny shaped head. You're not about to be on here grinding me up. Righteous Felon hats. Y'all might make me my file that's expunged. It might not be expunged if I put the hat on. Different colors. You can reach them at www.righteousfelon.com. And over here at Nothing's Normal, we are under the POLYMAF network. So luckily for you, you know us, you get a discount. Use promo code POLY15. www.righteousfelon.com, promo code POLY15. The tour locations, none of it is region. It's from here. Y'all are leapfrogging all over the world.
We globetrotters, man. Like I said, I always compared it to, Muhammad Ali. We never got to watch him fight live, but we heard the stories of the Thriller in Manila, and we heard about the Rumble in the Jungle, right? And those didn't take place in America, right? They took place in the Philippines, they took place in Africa, and that was because he looked at himself as a world champion. And so, this message is one that's being delivered to a world audience. And so, for us to be in the U.S., why wouldn't we travel to different parts of the world? Because the lesson of financial education is transcending, right? So you're going to see us in London, right? We're going to be in Switzerland. We're going to be in Africa, right? We was in Egypt. We was in Nigeria. We're going to be in Ghana. We're going to be touching a few other places. We was in Jamaica, of course. So there's going to be Mexico. We're going to be all over the world because the message is so important. And the fact that people gravitated toward us here, right? Imagine when we go to a country like Nigeria, we go back to a country like Nigeria where you have 210 million people, right? I would say 90% are black. Yeah. So you're talking to over 190 million people. You know how many black people or African-American people in the United States?
No.
42 million.
Wow, that's a lot.
42 million. So you're talking about 190 to 200 million people in Nigeria. And you're talking about 42 million as a total in the United States. If I get 10% of this.
Yeah, it's more than.
10, just give me 10%. Yeah.
Back to the numbers. Smart, makes sense.
Give me 10%. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get 10% here, but if I get 10% there, with the age difference, right? Because you're talking about a population that's under 30, a large, 75% is under 30. Yeah. So that means they still have a level of education that they don't have. Imagine if they got the education, they got the resources, they starting to fill in the technological gaps. This is something that could just really be world changing. So that's how we're looking at it, man. Yeah, we're looking at a global scale.
Yeah. Final question, man.
Yeah.
Nothing's normal.
Yeah.
We hear those two words, man. Define nothing's normal.
Nothing's normal.
Troy Millings, nothing's normal definition.
Yeah, I think nothing's normal means, nothing's the same. So the old ways of thinking, the old ways of being, from, a social media standpoint, from a media standpoint, from a financial stability standpoint, nothing is how it was. Like I said, 10 years ago, could you imagine yourself having a show?
No.
Right? 10 years ago, I couldn't imagine having a media empire. Yeah. But those things have happened because nothing's normal. So the old ways of thinking are done. There's a new revolution that is here. We're leading the financial revolution. Sure. We're gonna lead we're gonna lead the revolution.
What's going on, man.
We're gonna lead.
What's up, man?
Yeah, we're gonna lead the financial revolution. But the beautiful thing about this revolution is that it can't be stopped. Yeah. A lot of times when we saw revolutions in the past, you kill the leader or you kill your leaders, you cut the heads off. The body don't know how to work. Yeah. Well, this revolution is being led by information. And so once the information gets
out there,
once it's out there, it's going to continue to spread because there really isn't one figurehead, right? The information is the figurehead.
Yes. Wow.
And so once that spreads, you can't get that back. And so people are learning things And there's a population of people that have no idea it's happening. Yeah. And so we just gonna keep bubbling and to a point where it's like, oh, how did they get all this? Yeah. What's happening?
What the hell?
Why are these numbers changing? Yeah. 10, 15 years from now, they're going to look back at this moment like this was a pivotal moment in the history of mankind. Yeah. And we just happy to be a part of it.
Yo, this is Troy Millings. I appreciate him.
My dog.
This was special, man.
My dog.
That's all I can really say, man. I'm in shock. I love this fella. He's always been good. He's the one, man. Troy is one of the ones. If you know, you know. If you're from, our neck of the woods, you know the lingo, man. But final thoughts, man. Final thoughts. Where can they follow you? What's next? Can we get some 2024 announcements here? Nothing's normal. That
man.
Give me something you ain't give Steve Harvey. Give me a bomb. Tyler Perry ain't here now.
You could find me on your leisure, man. Like self-promotion is no promotion, man. So I'm always gonna promote the brand. Yes, shout out to my brothers, Mike. Shout out to Shotty. Find me there, man. That's first and foremost. 2024 is gonna be exciting. I told you some of the things we're gonna be doing around some of the sports leagues. That's gonna be dope. But I think the most important thing and the most exciting thing that we're doing is the curriculum. Yeah. And so that goes back to education, man. It's kind of full circle for us. For you especially, man. We started in the classroom, and so be able to impact the classroom with the information that we're now teaching, it means so much. And from a standpoint where, it's not being taught in schools and it's not an elective, but there are certain schools that have electives, whether it was home ec or whether it was technology. You had to take those electives in order to graduate. I want to make it, and I think one of our goals is to make it mandated to graduate high school in New York City to start, but I want to make it statewide where you have to take financial education in order to graduate, which I think everybody should,
it's
champion.
A no-brainer.
It feels like a no-brainer, right? And so we want to, spearhead that. But after we do, New York State, we want to make it a federal thing. I want to make sure that every kid has the opportunity to be educated properly about finance, from a landscape of things, whether it be real estate, whether it be investing, all forms of it. And so, we're really excited about that. We're about to have some demo schools early in the year, and hopefully we can get it in the fall in multiple schools. Wow. And of course, InvestFest is coming back around the corner, so be on the lookout for that.
I can't wait for InvestFest.
Oh, it's gonna be silly. No, it's gonna be silly.
Yeah. I'm coming. Every InvestFest, I'm coming a little.
This
bit
one
different.
Gonna be silly. Yeah, last year was
silly.
This one
sillier.
The biggest just got bigger.
Damn, how does that happen? That doesn't even make sense.
I want you to remember you asked me that when you see what happens.
Okay. This is gonna be the one. Listen.
Another one.
Look, listen, kids, get ready out there. Get ready to prepare for your financial literacy Regents test. That's get ready to hit the school system. Hey.
Pass your Regents, kids.
Yo, pass your Regents.
Earn your Regents.
Earn your Regents. Damn. Yikes. Troy, big bro, I love you. I appreciate it.
Love, my guy.
Yo, signing out.